Hello, good day. Welcome to Hijab Mode TV, your program for fashion news. Happy New Year. Now we have Navz Abdurajak. She is the owner and fashion designer of Navz, actually. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay, good. She's the owner and fashion designer of Navz. And Navz is established 2 years ago, specifically in February 2018, after her fashion show graduation. How did you feel on giving birth to this brand, if you could remember it?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Hello, Aviana, and hello, Hijab TV Mode TV. I am Naveena Abdurajak, the designer and founder of Navz. And how do I find? Going back to that day, I got mixed emotions. I was nervous and happy as well. And I was silently excited too. Seeing my collection being showcased on the runway made me feel extra emotional, and there was a little flashbacks of everything that I and the people that supporting me have been through from to come up with my piece collection. And from the can I I pause for a while? Wait.
Okay, so like we're talking about the birth, like how did you start it? That's just a fancy word, a birth to this brand.
Right.
Like
going back to that day, I got mixed emotions. I was nervous and happy as well. I was excited too, and seeing my collection being showcased on the runway made me feel extra emotional. During that moment, there was a little flashbacks coming through my mind, and that was everything that I and the people supporting me have been through to come up with my pieces collection, from designing each pieces to fabrication to manipulation and production. All the hassles and tiredness are all worth it.
yes. So in the process of making your thesis or your statement on your brand, is it really difficult, especially when you're just trying to like you're just trying to apply it to the modern world, for example, or the trends, for example, because it is a fashion school, and I think there is a kind of standard that you can't really do anything you like. Is that correct?
Yes.
So fashion shows graduations are always emotional because it is the birth of your identity. Navz is kind of your identity because it is your name, your first name anyway. Your artistic approaches and like your likes and dislikes about fashion styles, and your literary interpretation of how the fashion market is. With your niche, how can you adapt to the market in the south of the Philippines?
Thank you for the question. Since my brand promotes modest fashion, it is not that hard to adapt to fashion market in the South Philippines. More of fashion industry are already established and started to rise up.
Yes. Okay. So like it rose up, like how? From which source is it? Like as in is it from the urban residents or is it to cater the needs of the more of the local or residents? Oh, the local residents. Okay. So the Mora culture has many different roots. Yes, such as your brand Navz is Tausug fashion. Does anyone in the pop culture of the South Philippines specifically cater to the needs of wanting Tausug fashion, or do they identify fashion as Tausug?
My brand is not just for the Tausug, though They were inspired from the culture, artisanal heritages, and fashion. The design and silhouettes and designs, I mean, the styles are for everyone. And for everyone, both Muslims and non-Muslims. For we also promote empowerment through modest fashion.
Mm.
And I was inspired by the tambuko or gold buttons, which were being used as an ornament um, to the batawi, a long sleeve top made out of silk and velvet, and commonly seen at the wedding and engagement, worn by the Tausug women, especially the bride. So we reinvented the Tausug fashion. I am considered to be the first, one of the pioneering Tausug designer to make my own printed fabric as my brand signature. And
Yes. Mm.
I was inspired from the patterns of the tambuko and the pisyavit, a native Tausug woven fabric, and um, so everybody can wear them without looking a bit costumey, and while the essence of the culture is still preserved. All the printed fabric that I have used were mine. I designed the prints, and
Mm.
I designed
So,
the prints
mm-hmm.
before they were digitally printed to the chosen fabric.
Yes, of course, you like as the owner of Navz, you need to actually pick um the supplier or like the one who actually prints the fabric very carefully because they need to be actually very high skilled. And Navz is actually a really good boutique because it's really catered to a specific culture, and for those ones who wear Navz, you know, it's right there, printed um, fabric, and it's specifically intended to promote a certain culture such as Tausug fashion. And like as I can see, it has some bright colors,
Yes.
and it has a lot of contrast, you know, like it's not just harmonious colors. There's a lot of different types of patterns in one outfit. There's it's it's not like monochrome, I guess. So
Yes.
it's very harmonious, which is
Thank you.
really great.
Thank you.
So the event is showcasing your artistic approach on South Philippines, because we're talking about your upcoming fashion show for June 2021 as the guest designer. How will you able to know the consumers for sure that this is the brand they want?
My brand will give a class look to our target market, and since we reinvented Tausug fashion and from native looking to a modern one, surely it can be worn by anyone who wants to sport local products and looking fab, luxurious, and feeling more empowered with clothing or product, with our clothing or product.
Hmm. So the needs of the consumer is like they have to choose for themselves. Like the consumers have to know their own style before they go
Yes.
to yours. Okay, okay, that makes sense now. So how long does South Philippines have chosen this kind of niche for their possibly everyday look? But this question is not really related to your brand, because your brand is it doesn't look like an everyday look unless the person is actually wearing it casually, or like they're wearing um, this plain top, for example, and then this cardigan, you know,
Yes.
with all the pattern. So how would you comment on that? actually?
Honestly, I am not sure how long exactly, but just these past few years, Mindanao designers are promoting local fabric and reviving rich culture of the Moro fashion. Oh,
Hmm. So Tausug fashion is is really popular, or like,
Tausug fashion isn't that popular to the other tribes or non-Muslim. But what my brand wants to is to show or to promote our Tausug, to promote our tribe's fashion, and we want to show the identity of our brand.
hmm. So Navz, um, the identity of Navz is actually just bright colors and the silhouette. It's more like an eye, I think, an eye line, like more of it,
Yes.
and then there's actually an A line. Um, so so these kinds of silhouette, it looks pretty simple, but what's more complicated is actually the patterns. So I think the consumers have to choose, and this is perfect for those who loves to wear patterns.
Yes.
And
Those
mhm.
wait, those patterns I used were inspired from the native woven fabric of the Tausug, the Pisiavit. So I just got
Great.
a small part of the pattern, and then I do the design, and then I let it digitally printed to the plain fabric that I've chose. So that's how my prints are being made.
Yes, I see. And does the culture actually you know they promote the natural dyes actually, because since it's local, right? So so I think like the suppliers have to be more focused on the natural dyes, because the artificial one is bad for the environment.
Yeah.
So would you support that actually for your brand?
Actually, it's okay, but for me, if you have to, if wait, can you hear me?
Yep.
Hello,
Yep. Yeah, I can hear you.
can you hear me?
Yes, no. Yes, I can.
Hello,
Hello? Yes, I can hear you.
hello.
Hello. Okay, let me pause. So can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay, please continue in the part where you want to talk about the natural dyes. Like that part, yeah. The natural dyes of the tausug.
Come again.
Like the natural dyes. You were talking about like how your brand will actually contribute to the natural dyes of the tausug tribes. So you said yes, you would, but there's some other things you wanted to say.
Um, yes, it's okay, but we have to consider the symbols of each pattern. We have to be careful of creating or designing, because we want to respect the symbols of or pattern, the meaning of the patterns for the tribe.
Yes, yes, that's the difference between trends and these these kinds of unique boutiques, because for Navz, I think like there's so many respect for the values and the traditions of the fashion artistry, and I think that's great. So yeah. So what are your concerns as a designer that might have displayed different and unique looks that is the opposite of possibly the Manila residents? Since Manila is the capital of the Philippines, and it's yeah, it's the capital.
Come again?
So since Manila is the capital of the Philippines, what are your concerns as a designer that might have displayed a different and unique look for your fashion brand?
Recently, the former Miss Universe Catriona Gray visited the Zamboanga City and wore a native Tausug attire and a modernized one.
Yes, I the Manila style or residence.
As much as possible, we want Manila residents to choose and appreciate our brand. Thankful for this opportunity, given our brand a chance to promote modest fashion.
Okay, so do you think the place Manila is a place for modest fashion? Is it normal if there's modest fashion in Manila?
We all know that Manila isn't that. Modest is not really known, but recently the former Miss Universe Catriona Gray visited Zamboanga City and she wore a native attire of the Tausug and with the use of tribes woven fabric, the Pisiabit, promoting the rich culture of the city. Since Catriona Gray is not from from Mindanao, or she's not a Moro or a woman of Mindanao, she just proves that the Tausug fashion can be worn by anyone.
Yep. So it's all about the taste. It's not really all about where you come from or where you descend, and it's about your taste. If you actually like the traditional Tausug fashion, then go for it. It doesn't matter. So that is diversity. It's not all about where you come from. It's what you like and the freedom to choose what you like. It's great.
Yes.
Tausug fashion. How does Manila resident represent it? If you know, yeah. So your reference is from former Miss Universe, Katrina Gray. So she's from Manila, is it? Or like, if she is, how did she actually represent your Tausug fashion? Yeah.
It was days before the coronation night, as far as I can remember. Before the Philippines prestigious pageant, the Binibini Pilipinas. No, she came here to promote the beauty of the culture of Zamboanga City. That's why she wore native fashion. Native wear here in Zamboanga City and promotes it.
Okay, great. So she's a model. Diversity is needed in the fashion industry, from models to actually recreating indigenous textiles and making them normal. Do you think that it's a progress when residents wear your designs in the streets as ready to wear?
Yes, why not? As long as the RTWs were carefully made or produced, out of respect and culture's essence of the tribe isn't destroyed or done wrong. It's okay if it's made to be RWs.
Hmm. Actually, better go with the pants because like the pants looks like ready to wear. But like apart from the pants actually that you've made, the ones that have patterns like everywhere, I don't think that's ready to wear. I think it just depends which which um which clothing you're comfortable with as ready to wear.
Yes.
Okay, such as Sahaya, isn't it? Yeah, the
Yes.
Sahaya with the pants
That's
too.
of the collection. Yes.
Mm. But like you wouldn't wear the one that's like you know those patterns, those diamond patterns everywhere as ready to wear, right? Even even as a designer yourself, like you wouldn't have that as ready to wear.
Actually, it it's it's okay, but as for my brand, I want it to be a modern one. Like, not everyone would want to use something, some are I mean some are minimalist and some are maximalist. So my brand is just to give something that is simply pretty looking, but uh, it's vibrant, and
Yep.
because Tausug fashion is known for vibrant colors.
Yes, actually, there are many consumers who are confused what kind of modern look they like. I think like modern is actually just expressing yourself and your values. It's not about trends. That's what I personally believe in. I'm not sure if you as a designer do believe that's the kind of modern thinking, right? Tolerance or
Yes.
yeah, sure. Um, what is the fashion culture like in South Philippines today in terms of what they wear every day?
Um, Today's South Philippines fashion culture is being influenced by Western countries,
Oh, I see.
but some some Mindanao designers are still promoting and supporting authentic local products.
Yes, all right. Sure. The Western kind of fashion, I think it's more focused on modest, not modest, mass production. I mean, because it all started in Industrial Revolution actually with all those like mass produced units. So that's why like they have to wear short sleeves because the more units they do, they have less fabrics in like one unit, like as in mini skirts. So that's why the Western fashion is kind of defined like that. But now it's changing, I guess, since like we're more focused on, I guess, the more fashionable ways, not just, short skirts and the typical singlets, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty interesting because like when I read like the Philippines, they were kind of influenced by the Americans too because
Yeah.
of the politics stuff, yeah. And then like still now they're not resisting. I can't just say like resisting. I guess they're still influenced by the Western style, I guess, the typical Western style. So yeah, you know, how will we view your designs in June 2021?
Oh, I'm excited for that. But my brand's next collection for this coming 2021, June 2021 will be a will be showcasing a lax wear pieces to promote modest fashion and give basic information on this kind of ways of clothing to our brothers and sisters for awareness of more of fashion's existence.
Amazing. Yeah. You know, we have to promote like a lot of unique stuff. And yeah, I'm glad designers like you are like, you know, maybe they're trying to promote like big hardworking stuff, you know, because you're trying to push the culture forward. And that's really great. So thank you very
Yes.
much, Navz, for joining us. So thank
Yeah.
you for joining Hijab Mo TV, connecting with Aviana. And
Thank you. I'm glad to be part of the first virtual modest fashion show in the Philippines. Thank you, Modest Fashion Manila and Hijab Mode TV Australia, for having me. Thank you, Aviana, and I had wonderful conversation with you, and I'm looking forward to meet you online soon. All, Alhamdulillah, and wassalam.
yeah, welcome, salam.